shit. What's up, Zach? BigLeo. Leo.
Hello?
What's up?
Nothing much. Wait, so this is like a conditional statement. You're saying that it follows from God having the omni properties that evil things wouldn't happen? Like logically follows?
Yeah.
Okay, then via like the rule of replacement, you're saying that there's a contradiction in the antecedent being true and the consequent being false?
Just that, well, this is just a statement to get the conversation off the ground and whatever I could fucking fit in the thing.
So you don't actually hold to the statement on the board?
I hold to the statement. I just,
Okay, what's the contradiction in the antecedent being true and the consequent being false?
well, it could just be the case that, well, I need to put it on here, but I think that there's a contradiction in God being perfectly rational and being perfectly efficacious, being perfectly rational, and all good. But like I said, I can't fit it all on here.
No, I'm asking for the contradiction for... Wait, are you saying that those three things are derived from the antecedent being true and the consequent being false? I don't see that.
Well, the contradiction would just be that perfectly efficacious being is either, it's just entailed that it gets what it wants. And it's the case that the Christian God or all-powerful, all-good God just doesn't get what he wants.
Wait, perfectly efficacious being is what?
A being that gets whatever he wants.
How does that follow from the omni properties?
Because a perfect or an all-good being wants there to be no evil.
Wait, necessarily? I don't... Yeah, what's the argument for that, I guess?
Yeah.
Necessarily? I don't... Yeah, what's the argument for that, I guess?
Yeah, so an all-good being is just going to be opposed to evil.
Okay, I agree with that. Ontologically opposed. Yeah, but I'm unclear on what the contradiction is an all-good being wanting some evil.
Being, just got an all-good being. Well, first of all, an all-good being is just going to be morally perfect, right?
Yep.
And then that being is also just going to desire for there to be no evil, right?
No, so the world, that's where I'm getting cut up off. That's what I'm getting hung up on.
So you think an all-good being could desire there to be evil?
Yeah.
Wait, what? How does that follow?
Yeah, I think like Plantinga's free will defense is logically possible.
Plantinga doesn't say that God desires there to be evil.
I think that the free will defense, which is like trans-world depravity, I think that's logically possible. And because that defense is logically possible...
That's not logically possible.
It's not logically possible?
All Plantinga is saying...
What's the contradiction?
All Plantinga is saying is that, that world isn't feasible, whatever that means, right? But, like, obviously we can imagine a world in which every being has free will and they just choose not to do evil, right? And God is capable of actualizing that world. There's no contradiction there. So if God is a being that can get whatever he wants, and God is a being that will get whatever he wants, it just follows it.
I guess that's the part I understand. So wait, like, let's just say, like, do you think it's possible that God doesn't have any obligation to stop evil?
Obligation?
Yeah.
If he's morally perfect, I think sort of obligation would just be, he would just be compelled to doing
but
good.
I'm not asking if it is the case. I'm asking if it's possible, not the case.
No, I don't think that's possible.
Okay. So what you're saying is that it's not logically possible for an all-good being to not be obligated to stop evil. I guess I'd be unclear on.
Well, the argument I'm running is that it's not logically possible for a being, a perfectly efficacious being, to fail with respect to its desires.
Yeah, that's fine, but I'm unclear on why God couldn't have desires for evil existing.
Because he's all good.
I just don't see the contradiction there. I don't see how it's impossible that someone could be all good and then like be okay with, I don't know, maybe they're okay with like let's say someone wants one instance of stealing and they're all good. I don't see the contradiction there. So that's just to say there's no contradiction.
Well, then what makes it evil?
What makes it evil? The fact it's like a rights violation?
But does God want there to be rights violations?
Let's say he wants there to be like one rights violation. You think that contradicts him being all good? I don't see the contradiction.
That just wouldn't be an evil.
I don't see the contradiction, I guess.
Yeah, there isn't a contradiction because it's not an evil. If God desires it, then it can't be evil.
What? I don't think that follows. I think that God
does
can
that not follow?
God can desire for evil things.
Like, how are you just defining evil to be, or like, how are you even defining evil?
It's probably primitive, but I think like a sufficient condition would just be like a rights violation or like unnecessary harm. So I don't think it's impossible. I don't think it's impossible for God to desire.
You think an all good? Just want to get this clear. You think an all good being, a being that only desires good, could desire for unnecessary evil?
Insofar as I haven't been provided with a logical contradiction, which I haven't, so yes.
What is the good on your view?
What does it mean for God to be all good? It means that all of his actions are permissible and that he never sins.
No, but you think that, no, what does the good mean?
What is the term good? I think it's primitive, but I think there are examples of goodness.
Okay.
Like prudential good or moral good? I might be unclear on what you're asking.
Yeah,
all good?
The problem of evil engages with morality, right? So it's going to be some moral good. It's going to be some moral good.
Okay. So are you asking what it means for something to be moral?
Okay, wait. So let me just hold on. I just want to get this clear. Do you think that all instances of evil, do you think that those are going to be desired by God?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm just lost on your view. I don't even know what you like. What would it even mean? So you're saying that God could have desired the Holocaust. So what would it mean for what would it mean for the Holocaust to be bad on your view?
It's bad. What's the term? It's bad pro tanto. It's bad. Like the agent's doing something immoral. The agent's doing something that conflicts with God's nature. Clearly.
How does it? So God can desire things that are not of his nature?
Of course. Like he desires for Satan to continue living in the Bible. So like I think the Bible's pretty clear on that stuff.
No, but he doesn't want Satan to continue sinning.
Satan's existence is ontologically opposed to God's existence.
So like it just doesn't make sense for God to like be against like a Holocaust occurring, right?
I think we might be equivocating because there's a sense. Okay, so like it's bad or it's wrong. It's morally wrong in the sense that like the agents are doing something wrong by their own volition, right? But it's possible that maybe God
makes it morally wrong if God desires it.
God values their free will over that stuff.
No, but if God, how could God desire something that he doesn't want them to do?
Because there's two senses of desire being used. There's like a desire all else equal, and then there's a desire for the action when evaluated in a vacuum. And like so, in a vacuum, he wouldn't desire the Holocaust.
I don't even think
given the context, it's like a preservation of free will. He would say it's justified.
But okay, yeah, pro toto good, right? That's all God cares about, right?
It's specifically the fact that it's like he desires for himself not to intervene. That doesn't mean he desires the action to occur, all else being equal.
All right, but you said that God does desire for the evils to occur. So that's like when I asked you, could God desire the Holocaust?
Yeah.
And do you think he desired the Holocaust?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so he desired for the Holocaust to happen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so pro toto, that would just be a good thing, right? It was a good thing.
Specifically, it's that it's logically possible he has those desires. That's all I'm committing. Yeah, it's logically possible he had those desires. Possible.
So they don't. Okay, so then it's logically possible that the Holocaust is a good thing.
How does that follow?
Oh, because God, you're saying it's logic. Look, do you think? Oh, you already committed to saying God could desire. I think
it's logically possible that God desires evil. I think that's logically possible. Yeah, I don't see the contradiction.
Yeah. Well, you don't. You just don't think that God is opposed to evil, and all good beings.
He can be opposed. He can be opposed to evil in the sense that it violates his nature.
Opposition just means you're disposed.
Without having a desire to stop it. I don't see the contradiction there.
How are you using opposed? Opposed means you don't desire it to.
Wait, I can give an example. Like, imagine someone says like the N-word or something, and you don't want that to happen, right? But you also don't want to stop them. Like, can you make sense of a scenario like that?
What? Not if you're opposed to them not saying the N-word or saying the N-word, and you had the ability to stop them, and you just choose not to. I'm just not clear what you mean by opposed. Like,
you don't like it? It upsets you? Maybe it violates your nature in some sense?
It's like boo. So you're just saying
it motivates you to act. I just don't see the contradiction there.
How do you understand desire?
I take a desire to be like a want.
Okay, so if you want there to be no cancer, right? Or no leukemia. Or let's just say I'll say it like this. You want your child to not feel pain while they get their shots. You have the ability to prevent them from feeling pain with some sort of like anesthetic, or you could put them to sleep, right? I just don't know what it means to say that you want them to not feel pain, and yet you deliberately choose the method in which
I'm saying that
you deliberately choose a method in which involves the pain.
No, but I'm saying it's possible for God to want all those evils.
How is it possible? If
again, there's no contradiction. Powerful? There's no contradiction in him having those desires.
The contradiction would be in his rationale.
How?
Because he's perfectly rational. He doesn't desire for the Holocaust, right?
What? First of all, that was not mentioned in the prompt.
You're saying he does desire. Okay, so
I'm specifically talking about the omni properties, not entailing that evil things wouldn't happen, because God could just have some set of desires that are consistent with being all good that allow for the evil things to occur.
No, but you're saying that the evil things are things that could, or God could have desired, right?
Yeah, it's logically possible for God to desire some evil things to happen, yeah.
Yeah, so in virtue of what are they evil?
They're evil because they're like rights violations or harmful in like a first order sense.
Well, in virtue of what are those evil?
In virtue of what are rights violations evil?
Yeah.
It might be primitive.
At least from the Christian view.
Doesn't have an explanation.
I'm sorry?
You could say it violates God's nature. You could say it doesn't have an explanation. I don't think there's an issue with either of those things.
It's evil because it doesn't have. Does it like have any normative work? Is there any normative work being done there?
Yeah.
I don't see how it is. So you could say that like God desires you to do this evil. You wouldn't say that you should do what God desires you to do.
No.
So you're saying
it's possibly true that you should do what God doesn't want you to do.
No, it's possible. No, it's possibly true that.
Wait, hold on. I don't think that would work. Isn't the whole point that, God wants us to, so the evils that God wants us to do depend on whether they're an actualization of our free will. So if our free will led to us doing a good action, then God would want us to do that action. And if our free will...
No, but you said you desire.
I take all those states of affairs.
You said it's possible. No, but you said it's logically possible that God desires you to do an evil action, right?
Yeah, if it stems from your free will.
Okay, so if an action is evil, right? Mm-hmm. It wouldn't make sense for God. It wouldn't make sense for God to say, you ought not do, or you ought not sin, right?
Why does that make no sense?
Or do anything evil. Because he could desire it.
He couldn't desire it?
No, he could desire it. I don't see how this gets you out of like skeptical theism.
I just fail to see any of the contradictions in any of the statements that I've made, I guess. I just think that my position is just very simple. It's logically possible that God desires for some evils to occur if they're an extension of someone's free will, right? And then we look at all the evils in the world, and it's logically possible that all those evils are an extension of free will. And so it's just logically possible God desires all those evils. So none of this conflates with any of the properties that you've listed.
No, but I'm just not clear what makes them evil.
What makes them evil? Like you're unclear on what makes like grape evil, for instance?
Or what makes it so that you ought not do this evil?
So right, so it causes significant harm.
But God desires you to do it, and God is all
God
good.
desires you to do it pro toto, not pro tanto. So there's still a first order force behind it.
Pro tanto? Yeah, why does God care about pro tanto? Pro toto seems like pro toto is the one that God cares about.
Is it logically possible for God to care about pro tanto? That's the thing. I don't have to explain anything. All I'm claiming is I'm making an extremely weak claim. I'm just saying there's no contradiction here. I mean, if you're saying there's a contradiction, you have to show it. I don't think that you've.
Well, like I said, the contradiction would just be in rationale. Like God is perfectly rational.
That wasn't even referenced in.
I've said that. Well, yeah.
That would be the third revision. The second revision was adding.
Yeah, there's
God
different
being perfectly efficacious, and I said even if I include that. Now, I also don't see a contradiction in God being perfectly rational and allowing those things either. If you want to illustrate a contradiction there, I'd like to hear that as well.
Yeah, so God could, all things considered. Yeah, I mean, I don't think any Christian or anyone who believes that God is all good would desire some sort of like saying the Holocaust. Yeah.
I mean, what's logically possible. And the scenario that I'm giving is logically possible. So the statement on the board is false.
It's logically possible. I mean, I feel like you're just equivocating on evil, right?
How am I equivocating on evil?
Like, do you think that like God believes that the Holocaust ought not be done?
All else being equal, yeah.
Yeah, I'm lost.
Do you know what it means to say something like, you shouldn't do X, all else being equal? But given that X is a preservation of your free will, God might not be inclined to stop you from doing it.
It's not even entailed that God needs to like stop you. It could God could have instantiated a world in which all beings freely do the good, right? So God doesn't even have to like stop, or he could have just like made it so that you're physically restrained or constrained from like doing
what if that's not
evil.
the type of free will that God desires?
Well, why would God? I don't even know what that means.
You don't know what it means to say. What if it's the case that the type of free will God desires is one that doesn't involve nomological restrictions?
You're saying God desires the type of free will in which evils actually obtain, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm lost.
I don't see the contradiction there.
Like I don't understand how you're using opposed. I don't see how you're using evil.
When I say oppose, I'm saying it violates his nature.
Yeah, what does that mean?
What does that mean? It means that God's values, the things that he stands for, the things that he has positive attitudes towards, those things are in contradiction with the action. Now that can be true, and he could still not have a desire to stop it. Those don't form a logical contradiction.
No, but you're saying no. But you're saying
unlikely, but
hold on. You're saying that but you're saying that he desires it as well. But I mean, I don't know your view on Christianity, but do you think that desires are like stem from his nature, or like identical to his nature or his essence?
Do I think that God's desires are identical to his essence? I mean, that's the thing with desires. It's weird because, like, technically, like, God doesn't really have desires. It's more of like a kind of like a character. What's the term? It's like a personification of God that people use for like fictional reason. Apparently, God's like supposed to be like divinely simple, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Do you think divine supposed to be coherent?
I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. The desire talk might be like a bit confused, technically.
There was an argument that Ryan Mullins ran. I forgot what it's called. It starts with an A. Somebody's going to say it in the comment. I forgot what it was, but I thought that was a good argument against divine simplicity. I forgot.
A theist? I forgot.
What'd you say?
Is he a theist?
Ryan Mullins is a Christian, yeah.
Oh, okay. So not all Christians commit to divine simplicity.
It's not. Yeah, no.
Gotcha. Well, I have a question. Why not just make?
It sounds like you have like a Thomist view. I don't like. You said that God doesn't have the desires. I mean, I think that follows if God is purely actual. But I mean, I think that gets rid of like what theists are trying to communicate.
Well, just a quick question. Why not make like a weaker claim, like just like an inductive or like an evidentiary claim, like it's like, so just keep the first part of the conditional statement and then say it's like very unlikely that evil things would happen. I think that's much stronger.
I don't know. I just like running the logical. I mean, I think that most of the other atheists, like they also think this is forceful. I think the perfectly efficacious stuff works really well. But if you're just committed to saying that God desires evil, then I wouldn't.
That's logically possible. I don't see the contradiction.
I take the desire. Like I just take a morally good being to desire for there to be no evil, right? I mean, the Christian is going to accept that, but if you just accept that God might desire evil, then yeah, the argument doesn't work on you.
I mean, if you think it's analytically true, I don't think that's required for the concept of all good. No, I think the concept of all good is more just like all the actions you engage in are morally permissible, and like you never sin.
Oh, you don't think that oh, you don't think the desires? Okay, so wait, why would you think that? Like, if God has a good nature, wouldn't all of his anything that? Oh, you don't think God has desires?
No, like even if let's just say God has desires, because I think that's like totally conceivable. Even if God did have desires, I don't see why he couldn't desire for there to be evil things, given that like his desire like supervenes on actual states of affairs. Like, if it's the case that something was a free action and this free action led to evil, I don't see why God's desire can't shift to want that state of affairs to occur.
Well, I mean, that's why I brought up the other possible world, because like he could have like I said, he could have just created if he truly just didn't want there to be evils. But you're saying that he does want there to be evils.
I don't know, but I've heard those responses, but I think an issue with those is that like you might say there's like nomological restrictions on people doing evil. Like they can try, but like they'll never be successful. That just might not be the type of free will that God desires, or the type of free will that God cares about. Maybe God cares about the types of free will that actually there's like no physical restrictions on.
Yeah, but I mean, but then there's like heaven, and then and people think that like eventually he'll stop caring about that free will. Which I guess that doesn't make sense to me.
I think I think those two things are like possibly consistent, but inductively, yeah, I think that the theist is in a lot of trouble. That's why I'd recommend running the argument more inductively. The only reason I came up was because I disagree with the logical statement that's being made.
Leo, wait, can I try to frame it in some way, like the LPOE? If somebody holds like the belief that good, like the notion of good, is normative, right? It's like action guiding, and we say like God is all good, right? That means he has normative reasons to obtain good, or like to have actions which have good in them. And when he chooses a free world, where you have like free will in the libertarian sense, God is actively choosing indifference to evil in that sense, right? He's not. Imagine like a coin toss, right? If it lands on heads, I might prefer that option, sure. But let's say I win a reward. If it lands on heads, I win a car. And if it lands on tails, I lose my arm, right? When I choose to do the tossing, I'm being indifferent to the bad choice, or like the one I don't prefer. I just am accepting that notion where there's evil and good. So in some sense, he's not prioritizing good, or like his action is not prioritizing good, but instead some indifference or like indeterministic outcome. And that would be contradictory to an all good being.
That's the part I'm not getting. I don't see how that contradicts being an all good being. Why can't we have a being that all their actions are perfectly permissible, but they're indifferent to evils that occur in the actual world, that they're not personally morally responsible for?
Well, one way you can try to run this objection is just for God to be irrational in his decision making, i.e., like ignoring the normative reason of good, like doing good things only, and having like you said, some desire to accept evil or something like that, which is contrastive to the normative reason for good.
I guess I just don't see the contradiction. I don't know if you could like formally lay it out.
Well, the contradiction is just entailed from like the reasons he has. Like he has duties to obtain good. Like that's what we mean by normative. And then when he decides to do the negation, or like
well, wait, but isn't that question begging against the theist?
Not question. Okay. When he decides a world which has like the potential
for evil,
yeah, he's actively deciding to be indifferent, which is not the same like reasons when you do actions as like obtaining good. That's not the same choice. You're not actively trying to get good. You're actively trying to get some indeterministic outcome. You're not valuing good in that action.
Okay, so let's say that so let's say it's possible God desires indeterminacy instead of pure goodness or pure badness. You're saying that desire conflicts with him being all good.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, that's what I'm not understanding.
It conflicts because he has reasons to like not permit evil, or like to obtain the good.
Wouldn't the theist want to say that he has reasons to allow indeterminacy, like free will or like a specific kind of free will?
What's reasons are they gonna give? Because the reasons for good is just gonna be his property of like being all good.
But they might want to say that free will is a good.
Free will is good. Free will, like in the indeterministic sense, allows evil, so it can't be good. Or
I don't agree with that.
I
think it could be good things that allow for evil.
There are going to be good things that allow for evil. Like, is the evil going to be like some necessary condition for
like the evil? Like if the evil doesn't directly follow from an action, but it's made possible from an action, I don't see how that makes the derivative action evil.
Yeah, but is it necessary in that sense?
Is evil necessary for? It's probably possible.
I mean, if they say evil is gonna be necessary, well, I don't see it as being evil because it couldn't be otherwise, right? It's not something you would choose to do something against, right? It's gonna be there regardless.
But so like for the case of free will that I'm giving, like let's say that so let's say that evil is required for a specific type of free will. Are you saying that you reject that?
Okay, required for a specific type of free will. Is it like indeterministic or not?
Yeah, because the argument there's no fixed facts about the future.
Okay, there's no fixed facts about the future, and also, okay, is good normative and contrastive to evil?
Yep.
Well, I don't see why you'd think this free will is good. Like, how are we defining good? Because if you have two contrastive, possibilities from one position, you can't just deem it as good.
Well, you don't want to say you want to say it's not possible that free will, the type of free will that God values, is good?
Yeah, at least.
Oh, okay. I guess that's a claim that requires a contradiction to be demonstrated, I guess.
Okay.
I'm just not seeing them. That's why I think, again, I think if you made the inductive inference, it'd be like a really good argument, but I just think it's a bit too strong to make the claim of logical certainty.
Maybe I need to work. Yeah, I'll work on it. But I think there's some critique to me. I just need to read more on philosophy of action, and I think that might do it.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna dip, but I really appreciate the conversation. I don't really typically do debates from the theist perspective, but it was really awesome to get that opportunity. So thanks a lot for having me up.
Yeah, man, have a good one.
Yeah, it was nice talking to you, Leo. A bit. Yo, Trey, what's up?
What's up, man?
Hello.
I'm trying. Let's see. What's up?
I just wanted to hop in because I read the top, but I didn't read the bottom to the last part where it said free will is a bad excuse. So I just wanted to bring a different perspective about when it says God is all powerful and all good, evil things will not happen. Anything outside of God is not good. Can we all agree with that? Or
what does that mean?
So if God is all powerful and all good, anything that's outside of God is not good, because it can't be two good things, because therefore he's not all powerful, right?
What do you mean by there?
So if there is an entity that's all powerful and all good, that means that there can't be no other entity that's also good.
There can't be an entity which is also all good.
Yeah, it can't be two things. Only if it's one person, one God, that's one entity that's saying he's all powerful and all good. Whichever is outside of him is not good, obviously. Well, that's the point I was trying to set up right there.